This is Ash and you're watching WriterGAsh. So today I'm going to be doing my December wrap-up. This is my last wrap-up of this year and I'm super excited about starting the new year. And I just filmed end of the year book tag a while ago, and I talked about a book I was reading at that point that I just finished, so that can go in my wrap-up for this month. The first book I read this month was Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe. It was fantastic, and learning about so this book follows this little boy. I think of him as a kid. Anyways, so this follows a boy who is a little angry at the world. That's the kind of feel I got from him in the beginning of the book, and how he makes a friend for the very first time, and it's about his friendship with Dante and how their relationship blossoms from that friendship. And it's just a beautiful book about two amazing boys, and I would really suggest you guys give it a shot. The next book I read was Eliza and Her Monster. Eliza is an absolutely amazing comic artist, and I love that they kind of focus on the fandoms in the book, which was fantastic. And we also get to we also meet this guy who writes fan fiction for Eliza's comics, and it's just such a fun book, and I just love the feels. And Eliza is kind of going through stuff, like it was a theme throughout the book. She seemed to be going through depression, she had anxiety, and I felt like when I was reading the book that the book didn't make it like overwhelming, but it also touched all the things it needed to make sure that people understood that those things were important in people's life, and that's not something you just get over like that. You can't just tell someone to not be anxious. And I love that like the book incorporates something like that, which was an amazing thing, and this book was fantastic. Next book I read was The Hating Game. I started reading The Dark Prophecy before I started reading The Hating Game, but I finished The Hating Game before I stopped reading The Dark Prophecy after I started reading it, so I could read The Hating Game because I was going through a nostalgic mood. And The Hating Game is perfect. I've talked about it in my favorite books video. I've talked about it in the wrap-up I did for The Hating Game. And I did a book talk for The Hating Game. It was a really good book. So The Hating Game is about this woman who works at a publishing company, and she has this really funny banter-hate relationship going on with her colleague, and it's just such a fun book. And they are both up for the same job, for the COO, I think, for the COO position, and I love how she doesn't give up. She knows what she wants and she goes after it, and I love that about her. And I relate to her as a person, and like relate to her in a lot of levels, and she's just amazing. The next book I read was The Obsession. The Obsession is about this girl who has had a tough childhood, and she moves into a new town. She buys a house on impulse, and she's having it renovated, and she starts to form ties in that town when something from her past catches up with her, and she has to deal with it, and it's a beautiful story. The next book I read was Dating You, Hating You, and it was a similar story to, I kind of read it because I was looking for something like Hating Game, and I thought this book was really great, and it didn't start off as a hate to love story. It was basically a love to competition to love story. Anyway, so they meet at a party, at a costume party for Halloween, and they immediately click. They don't know each other. They're both dressed as Harry Potter characters, and they click immediately, and then they got a date. And then they find out their companies are merging and they're competing for the same job. And that's why I absolutely, and like the whole story with them, it's funny and it's nice. I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. I wanted to give it a 3.5. It was a good book. It's not something I'm going to remember like I do The Hating Game or The Obsession, because I read them so many times this year. It was fantastic. And anyways. And the final book I finished was The Dark Prophecy. I was reading it before I started reading the last 3 books, and then I stopped reading it to go back to these books because I was feeling really contemporary right now. And then I decided, well, it's New Year's Eve and I have to finish this book before the year ends, otherwise I'm never gonna get to it. And I did, and it was fantastic. This book made me love Apollo. It's like you can see him changing as a person. Like, so the thing in Percy Jackson I got from all the gods was that they don't give a shit about people. They just care about their godly lives and blah blah blah. And you can see it when Apollo talks about things. He has no regard for the lives of those around him. But in this book, you can see him start to care. He risks his life to protect other people, which is something I absolutely love about him. And that's why I love this book, especially towards the end. The scene with him and the Oracle, I can't pronounce his name or remember it right now, even though I just read it. So those scenes were beautiful. The scene with him and Georgina were beautiful. The scene with him and the ghost were beautiful. It was just a fantastic book. Like, I'm talking, the ending was, I thought it was very well done. And we're gonna see Jason and Piper in the next book, which is something I'm really excited about. We got to see Thalia in this book. Love her as a character, and yeah, it was a really good book. Anyways, so this book was fantastic and a wonderful sequel to Trials of Apollo, and I'm really excited about the 3rd book, which is coming out in 2018, which is tomorrow. Yeah, so that's it. Bye. I'll see you next year.